I said, guys, we have this cool little opportunity that kind of sprung up. And you're going to be hearing from Mel. And Mel's actually out in Hawaii, so she's going to be sharing her story. But let me tell you this, Mel has been one of the persons in our coaches corner because we've only let, I think, 7 people in coaches corner. It's an application process. And Mel was another person that when we first opened it, I think she joined the first hour. She was like, I'm ready to go. TIR changed my life. And now she's in rocking and rolling with us. And let me tell you this, the journey for her has also not been the easiest, but in a different way. What was the word I used, Mel, with you? Mel, we gotta be dynamic, right? Dynamic Mel. So that's gonna be her new nickname. Dynamic means, guys, when the universe is hitting you, it can be a person, a business, an opportunity, whatever. You have to be able to go with the flow. Sometimes things don't go as planned. But Mel, she at first it was difficult for her, but the way she's been growing over these last couple of weeks and months now has been absolutely tremendous. I have to say now she's dynamic. I have to say she's organized. I have to say that she's leading in a way that nobody else in our team can do. She is Mel the winner, Mel the leader, Mel the organized, and Miss Mel dynamic. So without further ado, I want to pass it off to Mel, who will be dropping the sauce in her own way. So you can go ahead and unmute yourself. How do I do that? Oh, unmute. There you go. Awesome. You're good to go, Mel.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Just wanted to say aloha and yeah, good morning from Hawaii, because in Hawaii right now, we're 6 hours behind EST. It's 4:22 a.m. And let's get rocking and rolling because I know we have a lot of stuff to cover and all of it is super important. So today I'm talking about belief. So, I mean, one of my favorite quotes from Bob Proctor is believe in your belief will create the fact. Like every time I have like a little issue with self-image paradigm, I come back to this, and this is why. Right? So I've seen a lot of you guys in Masterclass before. How many of you guys have a goal card? And if you do, throw it up. Yes, I like to see those goal cards. Awesome, you guys. You know, having a goal card is really important, right? We've already heard from other people saying how important it is to have a clear vision, to be very specific. You know, Mike just reiterated that. But, you know, what is belief? What does all of this have to do with masterclass, mindset stuff, and ultimately being successful? Let me tell you, it's everything. So how do you know when you really believe in your goals and your dreams and what you're doing? In the person that you desire to become, like how do we measure belief? Is that something measurable by inches, miles? Not necessarily. So this is how you do it. Ask yourself, are your beliefs in alignment with your behavior? And like vice versa, are your current results reflecting in terms of your goal, like progress in terms of your goal? Like really look at your results. Are they where you want them to be? Or maybe where you thought they'd be at this very point in time? So for me, belief, self-image, self-confidence, those were my absolutely hugest personal struggles from the get-go. So I'm from the island of Kauai. Here we have a population of 70,000 people. Yo, you guys think you guys come from small towns? We are getting our first Target this year. Woo! We have one whole Walmart. We have 70,000 people on this island, and we don't even have, like, they call it a highway, literally 2 lanes. So you want to talk about small and like just coming from a place of constantly playing small, never really thinking like I always had big dreams, but like, maybe I just can't do it. Like I can't do it. I'm from Hawaii. It's such a small place. I don't have any people. So this is where my challenge came in. So none of this mindset work, none of this law of attraction, personal development or anything is new to me. About 6 years ago, I went through something really horrible in my family life, like absolutely horrible. So horrible, I can't even talk about it, don't even want to give attention to it anymore. I've learned and grown from that. But that's when I hit my emotional rock bottom. So back then, I started learning about personal development, law of attraction, manifesting. And I was like, shit, this is great. I got it, right? I was like, I manifested parking stalls, coffee, my favorite little spot at my coffee place, a little bit of money here and there. So I thought I had it all figured out. So how many of you, drop a 7 in the chat, if you have felt that way, that you had it all figured out, you were able to manifest and be like, yeah, I got this. Right? I see ya. Yeah, I think everybody's been there. So you know what though? For me, and I know maybe a lot of you guys can relate, it wasn't consistent. So it wasn't necessarily luck or coincidence that I was able to manifest these things into my world. but it wasn't anything that I could sustain. I couldn't repeat it, like other than with little, like almost meaningless things. You know, those things you're just so lighthearted about. So there's no way that I was like having results and success. So have you ever felt that way? I'm sure you guys have. You start out wanting something really, really bad. You're really motivated. You're jazzed. You're doing everything you're supposed to, and then the outside world starts creeping in a little bit, and then you felt yourself like start to hope. You're like wishing. You're like crossing your fingers, and like you're almost desperate for it to happen. So, aloha. That was a little bit of a start into what I'm teaching today. And my name is Mello. I'm a success and mindset strategist. And I love seeing individuals inspired, empowered, and really discovering how powerful they truly are. I've been a part of the TAR fam for a couple of months now. Late April, I joined and really started hitting it full force early May. And knowing that I've come from that place, that history of law of attraction stuff, how long do you think it took me to put the pieces of the puzzle together? I mean, to really put them together and get to this point. Let me tell you, till now, basically, I'm learning and growing every single day. And that's a part of this process that really, when you jump into this world, you need to be ready for that. You are going to constantly learn and grow, push your limits every single day, week, month. Like you're going to keep pushing. So why wasn't I successful 5 to 6 years ago? Like the major pieces I was missing is exactly what I'm sharing with you today. It was belief and my self-image. And there's another piece. So I'll talk about that at the end. So there's a difference in wanting something really, really bad, like hoping, wishing, crossing your fingers for, and truly, truly believing that you can achieve and that this is going to be yours. So Napoleon Hill says there's a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. No one is ready for a thing until he believes he can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief, not mere hope and wish. So open-mindedness is essential for belief. Closed minds do not inspire faith, courage, and belief. So, I mean, that's really powerful. Look it up. So here's something directly from Thinking into the Results. So today, guys, you're getting sauce from me. You're getting 2 chapters out of SGR plus 1 chapter out of TR. I mean, basically summed up in a quick nutshell. Praxis is the word that Bob Proctor used as chapter 8, and it sounds really fancy, right? Like some fancy college word, but really it's integration with the belief of behavior. So how many of you guys have prayer in your life? It's part of your daily routine practice. That's something you do, you pray. When you pray to God, when you ask God for something, do you just ask on Sundays? Do you just do it whenever you're in church? Some people go to mass once a week. Some people go more than once. Right. I see it in there. No, right? You ask for it every single time that you pray. And when you pray, do you just pray to pray? Just say the words? Or is there emotion behind it? Like when you were there speaking to God. And when you're not praying, do you forget about the stuff that you pray about? Right? Or is it there somewhere subconsciously, whether it's conscious or unconscious, somewhere in your mind or your heart? Yes, the answer is absolutely yes. And this is just like belief. So Wallace D. Waddell in Science of Getting Rich says you cannot impress the mind of God by having a special Sabbath day set apart to tell him what you want and then forgetting him during the rest of the week. He also says that oral prayer has its effect in clarifying your vision and strengthening your faith, but it is not your oral petitions which will get you what you want. In order to get rich, you do not need a sweet hour of prayer. You need to pray without ceasing. So this is how we talk about our goals, our vision. We have to hold on to it every single moment. Like it's like imagine praying for somebody you love, somebody you really, really maybe want to get better, heal or something. You constantly think about that, right? And that's how we talk about the miracle of prayer and stuff. Same concept. You can't just dream it. You can't just talk about it. You can't just write it on that goal card. So those goal cards you guys threw up, you can't just have these written words on this card, read it every day and hold it and that's it. It's like prayer. You have to do it constantly, every single day. Look at it, hold it, believe it. So let's get to it. Let's speed this up a little bit. So habits, we talked a lot about habits, paradigm, and what does this all have to do with each other? A paradigm is a multitude of habits. So this is how we see the world around us, how we interpret and process, judge, and assume the way things are, and it's the way we do things. So you may be thinking, you keep hearing these words, paradigm, subconscious, conscious. Yes, yes, yes. Like, why is this so important? Paradigms are our programming. That means we are on autopilot. Jenna mentioned this yesterday. We do so much without thinking. 95% of our lives we spend on autopilot. Think about that. Only 5% of our lives are we making conscious decisions, meaning being aware, thinking about those decisions that we make. So again, the conscious mind is where logic lives. It's how we see the world. It's the information that we've gained over time through other people and experience, or the beliefs that we were raised with. It's responsible for our survival instincts, fight or flight. Our subconscious is our deep level of thinking, that emotional part of this. And this is where belief and emotional impact reside. So what does this all mean? We need to reprogram ourselves, our paradigms, our subconscious mind. We need to change our belief and our perspective from the core, like from within. So we need to shut down our autopilot on those old paradigms, upload some new paradigms, because these become our habits and our habits become our behavior. So if you're sitting here and you're like, Mel, you keep saying we need to, but how? How do I do this, Mel? Like repetition. So this is directly from TIR. You're getting direct sauce. Repetition. Bob says constant spaced repetition. So remember, we are reprogramming ourselves. Drop in the chat, some of you, how old you are right now. What's your age? Let me set 25, 33, 27, 25, 32, 26, 24. Right. Okay. We've all got at least 2 decades plus on us, right? We have to reprogram. However old you are, that's how many years of reprogram we are doing, and then some. You got some paradigms from when you were in utero with your mama, you know what I mean? So we need constant spaced repetition. In the beginning, I was studying a lot, right? I was reading, you've heard DeAndre talk about deep study. Deep study is super, super important. And this is why you can read all you want, but if that's all you're doing, you're just storing information. You're just the filing cabinet, right? I busted out my notebook from my first round of coaching, like back when I was with Tony Robbins. And I have like a lot of the same shit that I have written down now. But the missing piece was it didn't become a habit. So it just stayed knowledge. It stayed in my filing cabinet here, and I stayed exactly in the same place with the same results, because why? Nothing changed. I hadn't changed. All I had was information, and I didn't apply it. I didn't move through my world in a certain way. And in order to do that, which is, by the way, follow my IG, that's where the certain way is, you have to master this. You have to master belief, and your mindset needs to be on autopilot of this new habit. Second piece that Bob says is emotional impact. So we've all talked about that C-type goal, and we're like, how does it feel? What are you wearing? Right? We can all do that, but that can be sometimes like, if our imagination isn't there, it can be difficult. So emotional involvement, and like, are you in love with this idea? It's knowing that you are capable and you're worthy of obtaining and achieving, not always knowing the how, the direct path or the structure of it, but living from the end, from the wish fulfilled. So these thoughts, Jenna mentioned yesterday, thoughts are so powerful that we see in images. And that's where our higher faculty comes in, imagination. That higher faculty, and that's where we create our fantasies. That's where the thoughts come and create the picture that we hold on to in our mind. And the more we think about these things, the more we become obsessed. The pictures in our mind, our imagination becomes more vivid. And when it becomes more vivid, like we've already heard, it's easier to get there. That's your imagination at play and at work. So all these words, they seem really simple, yeah? It's not always easy, and that's why I decided to talk about this. This is a lot of internal work. Just like in TIR and stuff, we don't necessarily see tangible results right away in the beginning, because why? It starts from within. We have to master ourselves. This part of us, like inside part, nobody else can touch and nobody else can control. So the outside is a direct reflection of how we feel about ourselves, our businesses, and our beliefs. If it's money, you know what I mean? If the results aren't there, you have to check yourself. So I'm gonna wrap this up, right? So this is where the power lies. Realize that you are powerful beings. Like, how many of you here agree that we are powerful beings? On a scale of 1 to 10, let's drop 1 being not so powerful and 10 being extremely powerful. How powerful are we? Oh yeah, that's right. I like to see those 10s, 100s, and above 10s, right? We can change at any given time. We have the opportunity of choice, the luxury. So Neville D. Goddard in Power of Assumption says, a man's consciousness is all that he thinks and desires and loves, all that he believes is true and consents to. That's why a change of consciousness is necessary before you can change your outer world. So what does this mean? If you follow me on Insta, you know that I say a lot, review, rethink, rewrite. I also say wash, rinse, and repeat, because a lot of these concepts you can apply not just to business, but to every single facet of your life, your personal relationships, if you have a 9 to 5, your entrepreneurship, literally every facet of life. So there are actually a really few core principles that you can really just use over and over. So let's take a moment to work on our paradigm and our self-image real quick. Notice that self-talk, we do a lot of self-talk for ourselves, and it can be the difference between feeling great and feeling like shit. Why? Because we're on autopilot. So when you talk to yourself, think about it. How many times do we make a mistake and we're like, damn, I'm so dumb, or that was the stupidest mistake ever? Would you talk to your mom, your friend, your boyfriend, girlfriend, your husband, wife, or your bestie, your teammate? Would you talk to them that way? Absolutely not. So be aware of how we talk to ourselves. That voice in our head, even though it's not out loud, is one of the most powerful voices in our head, in our realm. So talk to yourself like you would talk to someone close to you. Let's see, the language we've talked about, being in the present. I'm so happy and grateful now that. So in your daily life, do you find yourself, and this is what DeAndre taught me, do you find yourself saying words like try? I'm gonna try to do it. I hope it happens. Like, I might hit that next rank if you know what I mean? We practice this a bunch this week, but speak in the present tense. I am so happy and grateful now that. Speak in the affirmative. I am. Kayla sent me a great video yesterday. It was like motivational speaking, and the first one was like, I am. If you haven't checked out the Power of Assumption, great one. That first chapter, I am. So expect it, live from the end, live from the wish fulfilled, live in that fantasy so much that it becomes your reality. Expect it and claim it. So belief and is trust and or faith and confidence in something. You need to control your thoughts. Fear, doubt, anxiety, insecurity, all of those are productivity and like positive vibe consumers. Don't feed those monsters. Strengthen your mind, your belief, your habits to think of only ways at how things can be done. Be solution driven, constantly moving forward, because when you give any attention to those negative emotions, you give life to them. You breathe life into them. So I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Gremlins. You put water on those little guys and they multiply. Don't water a weed garden of fear, doubt, and anxiety. That's not going to serve you. So faith is super important, right? Faith is almost like the same thing of fear. Fear and faith are both emotional involvement, both of something which is to come. But you have to believe in something that isn't there. So how do you want to live? Do you want to live in fear, feel uncomfortable, negative, sad, like insecure? Or you want to live in faith and you want to be like, yeah, I got this. I mean, it's much easier and much more positive and emotionally for you, just lighter to be in faith. So translate and prioritize. So I promise 2 more minutes. Translate and prioritize what makes your heart soar. So that your passion, every moment of your life, consciously or unconsciously, we have emotions that we are assuming. So we can't avoid these things. So make the most out of it. It's like eating and breathing and drinking. So let the assumption lead you, and you make the most of every conscious or unconscious moment thought by strengthening your belief. So when you continually perseverate, which means that you absolutely become obsessed, consumed by your goals and your dream life, it becomes your reality, it becomes tangible, it becomes physical, it comes to this physical plane. So I want you to remember, this is the final thought. The law of success isn't merely thinking, feeling, and saying. It's doing and believing. Where belief and action meet, the stage is set for massive shifts and quantum leaps. So if you want the rest of the sauce, I need you to float on over to my Insta, Motivated by Mello, and you're going to get part 2. It's how to master, how you level up this belief, and you learn how to act in a certain way. So thank you so much. Aloha, you guys. See you till the end. We have a lot of giveaways. Thank you so much for listening to me. I had a pleasure presenting for you.
Awesome. Amazing. I've never seen Mel act like that. Yo, drop a 777 in the chat. She did absolutely amazing. I think all the people that are on the Coach's Corner are like, what? Like, yo, Mel, you did an amazing job. Communication, energy, and I'm proud of you, Mel. I'm going to publicly just recognize you. Like, you have it within you. Like, when we dropped the whole opportunity, hey, do you want to speak? Like, you were ready. I think it was just a terror barrier. And I think the coaches, Kayla's agreeing with me, Jen's agreeing with me. It was a terror barrier that hit. Because now you're here and you are more than ready. More than ready. You just served all people on this call. So I want to say thank you so much for stepping out of your shell in dynamic. Mel, drop the word dynamic in the chat, because that's not only for Mel, but that's for all of us on today's call. Can you be more dynamic?